Alright, Gimpers, it is time for another edition in Unused Content and Games, and today we have Pikmin 4 right over here. This will be a bit of a shorter episode since there's not much unused content that I found here, but perhaps I should come back to this at some point in the future when it's updated a little bit. But anyways, let us begin with this here. Pikmin 4 is the game Pikmin fans have been waiting over 10 years for. This time, you play as your own custom character on a mission to rescue Captain Olimar after he sends out a distress call. It introduces night missions, glow Pikmin, and dog companions, the best part, to the series. Also dander trials and battles, I guess. This was brought to you by Unreal Engine 4. And also, I do game content like this all the time. If that's your type of thing, please consider subscribing to channels for free and you can always change your mind later on. Anyways, let's get some unused graphics. Alternate playing card icons. The game files contains alternate icons for 3 of the playing card items, and taken from the different angle from those used in game. And here's a closer look at this. Alright, Aquarium Cave Caption Board. The Aquarium Cave type has a caption board similar to the ones you would see in a real museum outside of the tank. This board has a fully textured front, but the survey drone cannot get to an angle where the sign is visible from the front, rendering this texture unseen. The texture shows 4 radar maps of aquarium caves, with the top left being the second sublevel of Seafloor Resort, the bottom right being the first sublevel of Seafloor Resort, the bottom left being the 4th sublevel of Seafloor Resort, and the bottom right being the Dandery Challenge planning pools. There's also some text to the right which is unreadable due to it being too blurry. And here's a closer look at this. Alright, unused green onion. An icon from an unused onion exists in this code here, and that code there, though it uses its use is unknown. What do you mean its use is unknown? It would have likely been used for the glow Pikmin before it was decided that they reproduce via the luminals. It may have been an onion for the glow Pikmin, or for the unused bean Pikmin. We'll get to that in due time, but here's a closer look at that. With the little green onion over here that does not show up in the final game. An unused pellet colors. The file with this code here, DT_pellet color, has several unused pellet color entries. The game can process these by overwriting used entries with unused color values. The bean color entry might have been considered for the glow Pikmin at some point in time, and has the following color entries. With these code here, 0.25 for red, 1.0 for green, 0.0 for blues, and 1.0 for alpha, whatever that means. But here's a closer look at these. And obviously it's a nice green shade of green that they chose for this, I'd argue. Alright, unused, or undiff, I guess undefined is likely what that's short for, palette colors. This unused color is defined for the entry of new Pikmin C, minion, undiff, mix, and random. All colors and values except alpha are 0.0. I guess this is likely for the little plants that change color over time. It's probably set for those type of values. Alright, unused hair colors and badge settings and stuff. Via real-time memory editing, the game can be tricked into using unused hair colors of either white, internal value 6, or gray for 7. And here's a closer look at that. As the character over here kind of looks like Mr. Mxyzptlk from DC Comics. That white hair. Here's the gray one. Alright, as same as above for the suit colors instead. If an unused color ID has been saved to the ID badge, it will also affect the Rescue Corps' appearance. And here's a closer look at this. Alright, next up some unused musics. The Tropical Wilds theme for Pikmin 3 likely used as a placeholder. Let's have a nice little listen to it. Not for too long, though. Alright, an early version of the Blue Pikmin introduction theme sounds more wavy than the final. Alright, here's what the final version sounds like. Just like the blues, the Ice Pikmin have an early intro variant as well. Sounds clearer / louder than the final. Alright, the challenge mode results theme from Pikmin 2 and 3 is left over as a placeholder from the Dandori results. Alright, following the trend of different Pikmin jingles, this time is for the Glow Pikmin. Not that many differences besides a bit more echo. Just ignore that part. Alright, today's results from Pikmin 3 is left in the files possibly being a placeholder. From where it's at, it could have possibly been used for all more Shipwreck Tales. Alright, an unused alternate version of the title screen with different notes. The success theme from Pikmin 2 is remade in Pikmin 4, but sadly never gets used. Alright, a distorted version of the Red Pikmin introduction theme. Possibly a placeholder for the Glow Pikmin introduction, or for the unused Bean Pikmin. Alright, unused sounds. Along with a couple of unchanged voice clips from Pikmin 3, there are a few strangely distorted voice lines for Charlie's, one of the captains of Pikmin 3. While unplayable, there are 4 unused voice files, each for Russ, Dingo, and Yoni. Example with this code here, with a body B, body C, and body D variation as well. This matches up with the 4 body types available in Character Customizer, which implies that these characters could have been randomly generated at some point in development. Alright, unused videos. An early pre-rendered version of the cutscene that plays after creating your character. In the game, this cutscene is made with in-game assets and isn't pre-rendered. Alright, MLV_sound test. A simple sound test video, which is 2 minutes and 10 seconds of metronomes like ticking. Sounds of an onion waking up can be heard 48 seconds in. Alright, so I'll skip ahead of this just to make this a bit easier. Alright, that's enough of that. Alright, unused text. Debug text. Some debug placeholder text exists, with the files containing them starting with debug_, which are all test dialogue. Alright, debug underscore UI underscore special character. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. The quick fox, or brown fox jumps over the lazy dog a total of, alright, let me try to say this number. 5,728,100,643.99 times. How the hell do you do that in decimals? Nope, you don't. So it's not a whole number, but discussion for another day. Mr. Jock TV Quiz PhD bags 200. Yeah, just this whole code over here. Also 3DSs and Nintendo Switches for some reason. And all these little silly codes over here. Most likely just to test out the dialogue, because they just put whatever random crap they could think of. A similar piece of text exists in The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD and Mario & Luigi Brothership. Both Switch games, by the way, for those who didn't already know. A text file located in the game's root folder contains some build info about the game, including some dates, with the earliest date being July 12th, 2022, only a year before the game came out, just about a year, a little over a year. And here's all the code. If you'd like to pause to read it, don't hesitate to do so. Alright, and some oddities. The CodePie internal names. The internal names for three of the CodePies, York, Nell, and Don Bergman, refer to Alf, Brittany, and Charlie, the main leaders of Pikmin 3. These characters are clearly references to the leaders, as they share the same colors, and York is an engineer like Alf. Oddly, Colin's localization name, Normal01, is called for when Don's nickname is used, as shown here in the code. With this code right over here. So they likely use Normal01 as the way to call said code whenever, they want to use said character's name. Alright, Don's internal names. The internal names of Moss and Ochi refer to them as Lucky and Happy, respectively. Alright, inconsistent internal name schemes. In text files, Colin, Shepard, and Russ are referred to as Normal01, Normal02, and Normal03. But Dingo is Normal06, Yoni is Normal010, and Bernard is just Pilot. So Normal 05, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 are all just chopped liver, I guess. Suggests there was probably some other unused characters that never made it to the final build. Our reused tracks. The end of day theme from Pikmin 3 is reused, as well as the after hours theme from the same game. As the tutorial time track, which is only used once in the prologue for some odd reason. Many Pikmin 3 tracks lay in the Pikmin 4 soundtrack that go unused. Orange Bulborb Night properties. Despite the Orange Bulborb never being present in any of the night levels, it is one of the few enemies that can be viewed at nighttime in the Piccolopedia, where it has unique behavior of always being awake and is able to destroy the Tricknell in 7 hits. Why all of this is present here despite never being seen in normal gameplay, and whether it was meant to be at one point, remains unknown. Clearly it was meant to be in the final game at some point, but got scrapped. Anyways, there's a bit more unused content I managed to find. And here's what it is. Alright, we already saw the green onion earlier. Alright, save file images. In the folder of the images of area used on the save game selection menu, which contains images of all the night expeditions. There are unused images for night expeditions set at the Central Flame and Maple Bridge, in the Giant's Hearth and the Primordial Thicket, respectively, which do not have night expeditions unlike most bases. Oddly, these images focus on the luminals more than the Night Expedition save files images that are used, which show more of the area around them. The distant summit base in the Sunspeckled Terrace, which also doesn't have a Night Expedition, does not have an unused image. The save file image for the Central Flame at night, and the save file image for the Maple Bridge at night, and here's what that looks like. Unused parameters. Pikmin type parameters. Various parameters for Pikmin types include unused parameters for bean type Pikmin. There are no models or other information about this Pikmin type. A piece of Pikmin 3 concept art features a Pikmin shaped like a bean, so it is possible that this type was considered for the game in early development. And here's what that looks like, likely saying this bean right over here. This bean Pikmin. And I guess this could have been an early version of an ice Pikmin and an early version of a rock Pikmin? Who knows? Alright, unused text. Object names in the localization folder, there is an unused localization item known as, or file known as object name, which contains names of a number of obstacles, tools, and other objects, some of which are not used in game. While it is localized in all of Pikmin 4 supported languages, the table below will only show the unused names in the N-US folder. English US, in other words. And here are the names of, like, the internal names for the code of the enemies, and then the name of the actual hazards and stuff. Alright, that's just unused content from Pikmin 3, but slight discussion for another day. But anyways, well, that's all the unused content I can find for now of Pikmin 4. So if y'all enjoyed this, you learned something new, and you want to see more, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as usual, please answer the question today. Of all the unused content we went over today, what would you have liked to see in the final game and why? Perhaps some sort of green onion for the glow Pikmin I would have liked to see, but I guess that defeats the purpose of them only being used at night and using the glow seed, so this idea was likely thought of before the glow seed idea came in. But aside from that, thank you all for watching. See you in the next unused content and games, and have a berrific day.